Hi everybody, welcome to Evans Mills Raceway Park, where tonight we're getting up to speed with Tony Pettinelli. Tony, thank you for coming all the way up. I understand you came up from Utica, so
Rome,
I understand. Rome, actually, okay. So I understand you're pretty dedicated to the sport if you came all the way to be here with us tonight. So
yes, we are.
I appreciate that. So came in the driver's suit. He did not drive the race car here, unfortunately, so you're not going to see any race car clips. But Tony, tell us a little bit about your past and what got you started with racing.
My dad dabbled in it a little bit when he was young, and then when I was 15, I grabbed a used street stock, and started putting it together. And we happened to live across the street from Richie Evans' shop.
Okay, great.
And then Richie come over and started talking to me about my race car and whatever, and asked me if I'd like a job. So I went to work for him. Started working on the modifieds when I was 15 or 16. So.
Awesome, awesome. So you have quite the history of Richie Evans, I understand.
Yeah, yes,
awesome.
we do.
So how long did you help Richie?
Right up until his passing.
Really?
By the time
Okay.
I was 16.
Okay, so a lot of experience on the asphalt. What got you started with the asphalt modified? Mostly Richie, or?
They've always been a passion. The modifieds they're the greatest race cars out there. There's no doubt about it. They always have been to us. But a friend of mine, I was crew chiefing for another guy on a modified for a short while, and I got to take it out and drive it a couple of times, his backup car, and we had some fun doing that.
Awesome.
I had 2 races under my belt.
Very cool.
And another friend of mine from snowmobile racing world asked me one day what it would take to get into a modified like that, and that was a tour type modified.
Gotcha.
And I said, you wouldn't want to do that. You need to get into a sport mod. I said, they're a lot more affordable, right, and you can still have a lot of fun. Same car, different engine, smaller tires. So we forgot about it. That was about 6 or 7 years ago. And a year ago, last fall, he called me up and he says, well, are you in or out? And I said, he's a good enough friend. You just say, I'm in. What are we doing?
Right,
you don't
absolutely.
do it the other way around. So he says, you got to buy that car. What car? That modified that we were talking about. I said, okay, just how in am I? I said, yeah, we'll do it. So he says, I'll buy the car. You got to crew chief it, wrench it, and drive it. And I said, oh, I'm definitely in.
Quite the deal.
So we went out and found a car, and we've been having a ball ever since.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, let me ask you, your past, your father, your cousins, your relatives, I should say, any interest in the racing? Did you inherit something from them?
My brother and I have always been competitive.
I totally understand that.
from bicycles to motorcycles to you name it, we're snowmobile racing, we're competitive, period. And we've just always had that nature, and just keep it going. Whatever we can put together with a motor on it, we'll run it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I understand you do some hobbies outside of the normal season of asphalt modified racing. I understand you do some ice oval racing as well.
Yeah, last year was my last year of that. I retired off the ice ovals. Now we just officiate and help with the promoting of it.
Very cool. Now, where does that span from? Where are the tracks located for that?
We ran anywhere from Massachusetts into Maine, Canada, out to Wisconsin, down to Pennsylvania. We would put on about 12,000 miles a year.
Wow.
Just
really
chasing
neat.
the snowmobile races.
That's really neat. So you obviously travel from Rome every weekend to be at Evans Mills Raceway Park. Mm-hmm. Where else do you travel? Do you travel a local series?
No, we're just running Evans Mills.
Okay.
It's different because we were used to running 3 to 5 nights a week with Richie.
Right.
And we're running 1 night a week, and I'm like, there's got to be somewhere
you don't know
else
what
we
to do
can
with
go.
yourself.
You know?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. So you get to the point where obviously you have a home life as well. I know you have a job that you have to cater to as well. Tell us a little bit about your crew. I see you brought your wife here with us tonight, so thank you for that. Obviously, there's a lot of people involved in it, as I also know myself, that it's more than just you. It's a lot of people backing you, I'm sure.
Well, to give you an idea how many people helped us out through this year, we sat down at the end of the year and I told my wife, I said, we got to do something for everybody that helped us this year. Let's throw a little party. We'll have a get together at the house and whatever. So we started making a list of names. It included their spouses and whatnot. We got to 54 names. And I said, we can't hold this at the house. So
right.
We threw a party. A friend of mine, one of our sponsors, DeCastro's Brick Oven restaurant down in Rome, he's got a banquet hall as well. So we threw a party there. So we've got a lot of help from a lot of different people in a lot of little ways. And it's all that help that makes the whole thing work. It's
Absolutely.
not just one particular individual. My son helps, my son-in-law, friends of ours, the car owner, my buddy Gary. There's so many people that come down and help out with the car.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
There is a lot that goes into it. You know what they say, you win your races out of the race shop, not at the speedway.
Exactly.
So I totally understand what you mean there.
Yeah.
Now, I got to ask you, 2NY, how did you inherit that number? How did you come up with 2NY?
There's an old Italian joke that asked how come so many guys were named Tony when they came over. And they said that's where they stamped their forehead, to New York.
Okay. So that's what I heard before you got here tonight, but I had to ask you the real story.
Well, we had started out, we were going to number the car 16, the opposite of 61. And a friend of mine had a little time at State College, and he drew a picture of me in a car, in a modified car, years before this ever came about, and he never gave it to me. Well, just I think it was last January or February timeframe, he showed me a picture of the car, and he had heard that same rumor, so he put 2NY on the car, and I said, that's it. We got to go with it.
That's it.
So we
That's
did.
it for sure.
Yeah.
So awesome. Glad to hear that. So awesome season in 2019. Obviously, you're going to be getting everything ready for 2020. Any changes to your program in 2020?
Very little changes, just some subtle changes to the car. We got it worked out. We're trying just to get used to the car, me getting used to driving it. We caught on pretty quick. Things went well. We made a lot of progress. We made some mistakes, corrected them with the car, and now we've put a new clip on it and just getting things all back together. Sure. And it's going to be just subtle changes. If you make too many changes at once,
right,
sometimes you overcorrect and you end up going
Absolutely.
backwards. So
Absolutely.
we were always that way with Rich, or when we're racing our sleds, we make small changes, try it, see what it does. You can always back up.
Right, absolutely.
So that's the plan for this year, just a little bit of change.
And I got to be honest with you, I was asked to drive one from Lee this summer, and I was out at Evans Mills racing with you guys, and there's so much finesse that goes into the cars. You almost have to act like there's an egg under the throttle so you don't spin the tires off the restarts.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There's a lot that goes into it that off the camera you don't realize, in the driver's seat. There's, a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
What kind of preparation do you do to get ready for a race?
Other than the basics, looking the car over, we stay on top of it pretty good. It's obvious we don't have any breakdowns. Knock on wood, we didn't have any this year. But to get ready for the race, we just make sure everything's up to snuff. We check everything twice. And then I do my own little prep thing is I do it the same way with our snowmobile races. Before we go out and take the green flag, I've already run that race 2 or 3 times in my head.
Right, absolutely.
And you grab a few scenarios, and when you can do that, you're ahead of the game.
Right, absolutely. And that's the most important thing of it all, to be on top of the game, right? Any sponsors you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, we got a handful of them. Dippin' Donuts out of Rome, DR Charbonneau out of Boonville, construction outfit. We've got 2 good friends of ours, Danny Morgan, we call him Swamper, and Bill Payne, that's Yardbird. They help out quite a bit. We've got CNY Automation, CNY Property Management, BMP Machine, Mill Creek Paving, and Talbert Electric Motors. Awesome. So we got quite a few.
Thank you for joining us. You're now up to speed with Tony Pettinelli.